Benjamin,
Rohan?
I believe we're back.
Seems like, right?
Seems like are we online? Are we have we overcome our issues from enjoying our summer too much?
You too much. Interesting.
Oof, that's a good. I was just speaking randomly. Did I enjoy it too much? No, I enjoyed it a good bit. I mean, we're still in the summer. The summer's not gone. Um, yeah, it's been a nice summer so far. How's yours been?
Busier than expected. I wanted to take it a bit slower, but somehow there was always something to do.
Man, you're a busy guy. That's what you're doing. But the good thing is, it's very likely that nobody knows we're back. So there's probably nobody watching this episode right now.
Shh, don't tell the one person that is watching.
Sorry, the millions and
The minions
millions.
that are watching. Um, yeah, and that being said, I told you before, my Chrome browser was really slow over the last week, and that's why I was switching to Firefox for this episode. But somehow I have some issues with the tabs that I want to share.
That is fantastic. What an exciting way to start the return from the summer.
Yeah, it's really weird. So might
All
be a
right.
big
So
mess.
Ben, what are you excited about? I mean, the new season starts. Actually, when does the Bundesliga
Earlier
start?
this
The new
morning, the
Premier League
NFL did
season
announce some
now.
correct.
Let me say that again.
I said the new season, the new Bundesliga seasons. When does that start?
Tomorrow, actually, Bayern Munich playing against Eintracht Frankfurt. I think in Frankfurt, not entirely sure. But yep, tomorrow's kickoff. Very excited. Yeah, curious how things will go. I mean, at least one of the clubs that we both support managed to bring in some new players. So yeah, let's see how that goes.
And you've got a big lineup of new players. United has not done so well. We are still looking for our Frankie, um, which
I mean, we can talk about that for a bit, but I think it's ridiculous what FC Barcelona is doing. I mean, they're just not honoring their contracts. They owe him money. They push him to reduce the salary or leave, while saying, "Hey, we don't have enough money," but they're buying player after player after player. I mean, that's such a nonsense, and it's hard to like take them serious anymore.
yeah, and not just that, they keep announcing these new kind of weird intros. I mean, one of them we're going to talk about,
Yeah.
which I'm super like. What is going on at FC Barcelona? But yeah, that's one of the things we're going to cover. Yeah, United. I don't know. I keep saying this every summer. I feel like every year I try to bring it with optimism. Last year was the first summer I was genuinely like, "Come on, we're going to do something." We have Cristiano back, and we just finished second in the year before, and look how that year went. So I'm
And
almost
now
scared to be optimistic.
and now he's a pain in the behind. I mean, his behavior is just
Um,
selfish, to be honest. Um, so ridiculous.
it is it
But
is
yeah,
retarded. It is really really retarded.
by the way, not sure how the temperature situation is in the UK, but here in Berlin it's 37 degree. That's why my fan is on in the
It
background. Not
was
sure if you
37 yesterday. Is today still a hot day? I know it was 37 yesterday.
not to, yesterday was not as hot. Today is the hot one.
Okay,
But the good thing is I have support here.
you do. Ooh, that's a nice little. I, I
It's,
I was going to finish that sentence, but I don't know where to go. What animal is that? Is that a
it's a llama or
is that a
alpaca.
squirrel?
No, a llama, alpaca,
It's a llama.
something like this.
That looks. That's a quite interesting looking llama, shall we say? Yeah. All right, Ben. We've wasted 5 minutes of everyone's time. Of all the millions that are
Yeah.
watching, let's kick off.
Yeah, first to let you know, we've been away for a month. That means we're gonna give you a quick run through of, let's say, the most important things that happened. Just a very quick one, mentioning the stuff briefly, and then we go back to our typical structure of the top 5 news. right?
Yep, exactly.
And
Because
I believe it is me who is starting. I'm afraid that somehow I'm going to
that
mess this
is
up.
true.
So, yeah, this is the headline. The NFL is what they have announced a couple of months ago, NFL Plus, their very own direct to consumer streaming service. No collaborations, no selling packages. I mean, they still do that for some formats, but now you can stream all of their games for a very affordable price on your mobile and tablet devices. I think that is what we have to mention. So they have two packages: NFL Plus, $5 a month, 40 a year, and you can local primetime games on mobile and tablet devices, and a bunch of other stuff. Not going to go into that, but you can also upgrade it to NFL Plus Premium, where you get all the stuff from NFL Plus, plus a bunch of stuff, no ads, stuff across devices, coaches film, so you can upgrade it for some extra bucks. Good move, bad move.
Sounds interesting. We don't know, but we're going to run through it quickly. Are you going to buy this subscription or not?
I always have the Game Pass since 2 seasons, and they charged me for it a couple of days ago. So I'm not even, I cannot even choose for this season. But no, I'm using it on my TV, and I might share it with or I'm sharing it with my brother-in-law. Don't tell it to anyone. So my sister's husband. So we're sharing the amount, and we're just both watching the games, which surprisingly
Nice,
works.
nice.
Don't tell
Which
anyone. Never
works.
say that.
Let's leave it at that. Maybe I'll give it a shot. All right. Moving
Next
along.
one.
Next story quickly. We have La Liga, who announced a big partnership with EA Sports. In fact, EA Sports is going to become a title sponsor across La Liga, which is a pretty interesting move. I think this is also, I mean, you, it's not really a sports tech move; it's a sponsorship move. But the reason we wanted to include this story, because I couldn't read everything because there was too much to read. B, because EA Sports, this is also a signal coming off releasing the FIFA game. They've given the FIFA property back to FIFA, and they're going to be launching EA Sports FC, which is what the brand is going to be called now, and they're going to be involved in all La Liga competitions. And the commitment, it seems to be that this is the most authentic, immersive experiences in global football. Now we know that La Liga Tech is investing a lot of money in a lot of ways. Tebas, who's the president, spoke about the cutting edge interactive Liga is trying to create. La Liga has also launched, remember, their own streaming service in, I think it was Philippines and Indonesia, if I remember correctly. That's one of the old stories from last year. And rumor has it that EA Sports might be involved in La Liga streaming service in some way as well. So this deal of EA Sports getting closer to La Liga is, let's say, I mean, we'll talk about other partnerships in this new digital space, but I think this one could actually be really interesting if it moves beyond. I mean, right now everybody's saying the right things and speaking the right language, but if it actually moves beyond a sponsorship into a good technical partnership, I like this story.
Me too. Ever since they broke away from FIFA, I think they're doing cool stuff. I'm a fan of it, and I think this is one of the best, let's say, naming partner or sponsorship deals that I've seen in a while because it's such a good fit. I mean, compared to Santander or Barclays or you name it, I mean, it's EA Sports. I mean, you can think about it what you want, but I really like it.
Yep.
Speaking about interesting new developments in soccer, that is one where I'm curious about your opinion, to be honest. What do you see here, ladies and gentlemen, is a smart scarf. Manchester City has piloted that one, tested it at the end of last season, and now they're gonna make use of it a bit more in the current campaign or in the upcoming campaign. What you see there is Cisco developed technology, and there's this sensor here. There was also a name for it, emoji bit, and it does different things, and they all sound amazing. Temperature sensor, blood flow through skin. Then they have some EDA lie detector technology that they might use that for movement control, monitoring, all of that. The interesting thing, though, is why are they doing this and what they're measuring. So, of course, I mean, they want to know how fans are into certain situations during matches, right? But what they want to do is they want to be more inclusive. I wonder how, and develop new, more personalized fan experiences for supporters. Seeing that scarf with all the tech that comes in it, how would that translate into higher inclusiveness and a better fan experience? That's my question to you.
Uh,
Luckily, I don't
I,
have
I
to.
think I think the inclusivity comes from the fact that well, basically, actually, rather you can use this own scarf against some Man City executives and check if they are lying when they use us this language, because apparently there's a lie detector in this thing, right? Come on, it sounds like a bunch of PR nonsense. I like the cool IoT based engagement stuff, but everything else is PR. As always, Man City keeps surprising me with interesting tech. I like the fact that there is a wearable for fans. We have seen this before from them. We remember the Citizens
Yeah, I was about to
wristbands.
say that. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah, they launched that. I think maybe more than 2 years ago.
Big
Um,
success. Not.
yeah, and I don't know. Think anything came from that. Maybe something will come from this if the technology is good. I'm wondering if I should run and get it. I just got my Manchester United membership pack for this year, which has a hat and some socks and no connected scarf, unfortunately. So something to talk to United about.
So, a very quick breakaway question. So,
Yeah.
now that you are more regularly close to the club of your heart, what is changing for you in the season? Are you a member now? Do you go to games? I think you mentioned something, but it wasn't
Yeah,
clear.
well, I'm going to the season opener on Sunday. So that's cool. I went for the last game of last season. I'm going for the first game of this season, which should be cool. I'm going with my brother. What has changed? Yeah, I'm a One United member now. I've always had the digital pass,
Mhm.
which gives me nothing. It just gives me like some access to training videos and stuff. But being a member of the next level of membership, like I said, I got a scarf, I got some socks, so I'm a happy, and a pen. Don't forget the pen. So I'm super happy about that. But more importantly, I think it gives me, yeah, I get access to, I can go into the ticket lotteries. They actually have this weird system of to get a ticket officially. Of course, you can buy them unofficially through different channels. But to get a ticket officially, you have to be a One United member. So I
Mm.
got the ticket from a season ticket holder who can only transfer one ticket X number of times a year. So I had to become a member. So that's my first change. Beyond that, I don't know. I will eat more meat and pies at the Old Trafford Stadium, which is not very good. I had the pies last time; they were really rubbish. The worst pies I've had in England so far. So I will, let's say, not enjoy that experience a few more times.
Yeah, it's matching the performance on the pitch, I think.
I think so too, at least right
Yeah.
now.
All right. Thanks for the insights on the Man United membership. What else do you have for us?
And their F&B. Yeah, next up we have a Stadia Ventures, a cohort. Actually, there have been a few of these cohort announcements. I could have talked about. I think Startup Bootcamp had one. There was one in Houston. Um, our favorite friends are at Hype announced something. So there were three or four. There were three or four stories of new cohorts that happened, or new initiatives, startup competitions, etc. But I wanted to pick up the Stadia one because yeah, we like them and they're usually good companies. I couldn't find let's say an official web article, so I have their link posts. And actually, this event is taking place today, Ben, on the 4th of August, where these ten companies, which are shortlisted for the cohort, will get judged by a bunch of people from the sports tech community, and they will select one winner. What are these companies? Yeah, won't take too much time. Here's the link. Here's the list. You'll see them on our social posts. But there are some fantasy players. There are some VR players. There's some women's sports focused tech platforms, a sports betting platform or two. So some cool solutions, and hopefully Stadia will maintain its quality, and we'll see some cool startups again.
Yeah, first event, we're not participating in a long while, I think. I'm a bit sad
Yeah,
because I like Chicago a lot. Did my high school exchange close to Chicago, so it would have been a good opportunity to visit some friends, but not this year.
Not this year, and they didn't have a remote option this year, which I thought was an interesting choice, right? Yeah, they said it's
Yeah.
going to be only in person. Yeah.
Moving from North America focus to a European focus. Another news that worth mentioning is what Adidas is doing in Paris together with Le Tremplin, our old friends from France. They have announced
We have a lot
the
of
break.
Ben. We have a lot of friends. We have very friendly guys. We are.
Mostly, yeah. Sometimes, sometimes I say not so nice words about other initiatives, but I always think I have a reason, but not officially. Yeah, thank you for that. Coming back to the topic, Adidas launched the Breaking Barriers Innovation Lab. I enjoyed it. You enjoy this? Short. This is the important part here. It is, I think you can call it sort of an accelerator, so startup program. Let's put it that way to be more broad. And they accept applications until the end of April. For what is the question? One of those three categories. Solutions that address the barriers to sport faced by women and girls, or women led startups working in the sports industry, or startups or solutions that are driven to create space for and amplify women in sport. You get the topic, you get the pattern. It's an innovation initiative that supports girls and women in sport and some of the issues they are facing. It's not necessarily purely tech, as I believe, but it's just generally trying to support girls and women in sport, to have access to sport, to perform sport, all of that. And they only invite European startups for this. So they really have a focus on the continent that both of us are in at the moment. So pretty obvious that this is something cool. This is something that should be supported, and we both will have a close eye on which solutions to actually finding. I'm very curious which ones are going to make the the cut.
Exactly. As you said, it's not been announced as a tech initiative or tech innovation, but it is an innovation challenge. So yeah, I think it deserves some visibility. As you said, maybe women focused startups or women founder startups will get a bit more visibility. So cool stuff. Well done, Adidas.
Exactly, and
Okay.
this was the quick run through to through the first five news. Took us way too long, but let's keep that speed up for the other five. I'd say.
Exactly. I was literally going to say the exact same thing. That was supposed to be the
Okay.
quick version, but I
Yeah,
think it's going to be the same speed if we want to
yeah.
get through in the next 15 minutes even.
Go for
All
it.
right, so
Tell
let's
us
let's
about the
start
money.
with funding news because there's been obviously a lot of funding. Sports tech. We keep talking about sports tech is niche, is this, is that, is growing, is not growing. But even in slow months, in big months, there's always big action. Let's start with alt. Alt has been. I don't. I'm going to cover five stories because there were quite a few. So I won't show you the website as well. But be sure to take a look. Alt is a digital collectibles platform. They do fractionalization. They do a few different things for you to do sports-based collectibles. I think they're using this 200 million, by the way. It is debt financing, I should highlight, but it's access to capital, which is why I think it's worth mentioning. So they're going to get 200 million. They've already raised about 100 million of funding. So this is a company which has some deep pockets. We've actually been in touch with them to do some work. Whether it happens or not, we shall see. But they're aggressive. Let's put it that way. Yeah, they're doing a lot of different things. So they're announcing 200 million that they're going to raise, and they're going to bring more liquidity so that they can hold more assets and move out of sports potentially and into fashion and other categories. So this is a bit of a growth fund. Also to act as lending. There's a whole thing of how alt works, but we'll save that for another time. Interesting company, interesting story. Next up is ScoreFam. ScoreFam raised 25 million from Gem Digital. What is ScoreFam? I'll have to remember. ScoreFam was a fan engagement product, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, the reason I also want to highlight, yeah, it's basically around fan engagement to help some sort of games for fans, if I remember correctly. But Gem is a fund. Gem Digital is a fund that I have seen become increasingly active. And they're Bahamas based, so question marks on the money, but they've become increasingly active. Seen a few sports deals from Gem Digital, and here they're investing in a let's say fan engagement product, a sports gaming product. Underdog raised 35 million. This is a company that's in the fantasy sports space. They say there's the fastest growing paid fantasy sports company ever. Ben, don't miss the word ever. So yeah, Underdog, good job meeting that claim. So they've raised 35 million, valuing the company at nearly half a million. So they're going gangbusters. Voila raised 13 million. Voila is a software for fitness studios, for fitness companies, or boutiques, centers, boutiques, studios. So industry leading studio management software, and more than challenging economic conditions. They raised 13 million. This is again a signal of people being open to going back to gyms, and gyms and studios and fitness facilities needing better infrastructure. We saw a lot of this pre-pandemic. Through the pandemic, the studios and the fitness, the gyms, etc., became secondary. At-home fitness became more important. Now, as people go back to facilities, gyms, and fitness studios, maybe this becomes more relevant. The last funding story is, of course, we can't have a funding conversation without using the word metaverse. Stadium Live has raised 10 million to launch a Gen Z sports metaverse. A lot of cool pictures. They're going to have some sports heroes, and there'll be some virtual world in which they're going to be immersed. One quick one over here. The round was led by all names that we know: KB Partners, Kevin Durant's 35 Ventures, Blaise Matuidi, the French footballer, and previously they've also had Dapper Labs and another big bunch of investors. So good capital going into a Gen Z sports metaverse. Stadium Live. Whew, Ben, that's a lot of companies raising a lot of money.
Yeah, what a run through. Yeah, while you were talking, I thought about what can I say on this, and I have to say it's topics that we all know, that we've been talking about the entire time. You have your fitness, you have your fantasy sports, you have your NFTs, you have your collectibles, all of that. So nothing surprising, and a nice overview on the good topics.
Yeah, exactly. Let's see which one does what.
Cool. Then let me continue with some innovation. We are coming to Germany. Um, where is the caption? Ron, are you playing with me? There's no
No, no, no.
caption.
It's right there. I've got the caption right here. It's the next caption.
It's not here. I kid you not.
And I put it on. I put it on.
Thank you. Um,
Yeah,
Yeah. So that game already happened. The
yeah,
Telecom Cup. It's a preseason game that is streamed by Deutsche Telekom, a company I worked for previously. They do that every season. Before, they were always doing that with Bayern Munich because they're a sponsor of Bayern Munich. This year it was FC Cologne against AC Milan. You might say, yeah, maybe that's not so great as if Bayern Munich would play some big team, but the innovation component was a really interesting one. I want to share two different things with you. First of all, these are all the startups that have been involved in that game. So all these solutions, many of them which we know, for example, Bleacher, Collect ID, Sponix, and so on and so on, WSC. So a bunch of startups that we've been following for quite a while now have been there, used their solution, and of course that created a lot of interest. The one feature that probably caught the most attention was the body cam. That
yeah.
I'm not sure if only some players are wearing it, and this is really incredible footage. I'm sure most of you have seen it already, but just want to share it with you. So throughout the game, the players were wearing the body cams and created footage that you probably have never seen from a game before. I mean, just look at that. I mean, being so close to players in that quality, I think that's really amazing, and probably also supported by 5G, I would assume. The only weird thing is, by the way, players running, for example, yeah, here, but you always see the hands going back and forth. That looks a bit odd, but besides that, it's pretty cool. Has pros because that's footage that everybody loves to see. Oh, that's a nice goal. As a con, from a player perspective, maybe even coach perspective, you get more and more transparent. Every single movement is captured, and I think also again, not sure if all of them, but at least some of the players had were mic'd up a bit like in the NFL. So this is the scene. I mean, if you're running, you see the hands. That's a bit weird, but other than that, it's pretty cool. Yeah, everybody or a lot of people were talking about this. The game created lots of attention, obviously, and I think we can absolutely say that this was a big success. What do you think? Would you see that? Like to see that in every game from now on?
I mean, as a fan, 100%. I
Yeah.
mean, even just the few little clips and stuff that came, it looks super cool. We've seen a lot of this in American sports. We've seen like players mic'd up, especially in the NBA. It's almost become normal now. We've seen body cams in different sports over the other thing. Rugby and American football has done stuff like this. So it was the first time I saw it in, let's say, a big European league embrace it. Yeah, it was a friendly, it was preseason, all that. But I would love to see more of this. Number one. But my actually favorite part of this story was, if you, I'm sure you read it, the quote from the FC Cologne coach. I think his name is Baumgartner or something. And they asked him. This is in German, so excuse me for any sort of translation mistakes. But basically, they asked him after the game, like, "What do you think about this innovation day?" And he's like, "I don't like it, and I don't care for all this innovation stuff. I'm not interested." I'm like, I'm trying to find the exact quote, but that was great. I was like, this is why I love the Germans. Yeah, that was really funny. But no, I think the idea is really cool. Um, the idea
Look at
that that some of this might come into yeah, might come into league would be fantastic. Yeah, sorry, I'm actually pulling up the quote, and this is the translation to English. When FC coach, Cologne coach Stephen Baumgartner was not particularly enthusiastic about it. "I'm more of a traditionalist and don't like everything that happens there," he said after the
that.
game.
That's all right.
That's pretty. That's pretty good.
Yeah, let's see if we will see the first games actually using it in regular season games. I think it would be pretty cool. But I'm also sure that there are some players out there, Sergio Ramos, who would potentially not like the body cam so much because they have their hidden things that they do during the game, which might be identified or discovered when there's a body cam.
That is a good point. That is a good point. So teams will have to be, or say leagues, selective about which players they put these cameras on. Yeah, fair point.
Absolutely.
All right, keeping this
Next one.
moving along. We mentioned this at the top of the show, but what the hell is going on? Excuse me, at FC Barcelona, because apart from all the money that they keep raising from selling media rights, they already sold. I think it was 25% of their media rights to CVC Capital. I think it was for a 10-year period or something like that. Now they've gone and sold 25% in FC Barcelona Studios, which I didn't even know really existed till I read this
Yeah,
article. I don't know what FCB Studios does. I think this is a new company that they created, and Socios is like, here, take 100 million for 25%. But that's exactly what's happened. But what the partnership will see Socios, the parent company, Chiliz, invest 100 million in Barca Studios to acquire 25% in the club's digital content creation and distribution hub. Right. So what does that mean exactly? Somewhere over here, uh, wait, yeah, okay. There was some bullet point. Maybe it was a different article I read. Sorry, but to deliver utility that connect fans. So some tokens. There is a fan token already that is on Socios. Um, so that'll become, let's say, more in prominence. But there'll be new immersive digital ecosystems that Chili's technology will power along with Barca Studios. and they will attract the most innovative blockchain and Web3 partners. This is the key, right? So the whole thing of functioning as a studio is not so important, but this is all about Web3. Socios has effectively bought 25% of FC Barcelona's digital slash Web3 rights. So if tomorrow Barcelona Studios launches a game, launches an NFT offering, launches a sports metaverse, whatever it is, Socios will be part of all of those things. Um, Smart play from yeah, sorry, the last layer on this. This is the one I want to talk about. So blockchain creators, especially for sports, enables them to mint NFTs and Fang tokens, build DeFi products, play to earn games, create merchandise programs, and unlock the huge potential of Web3. This. So Ben, smart move from FC Barcelona or smart move from Chiliz?
I mean, we never know the entire picture, right? So we don't know the details of the contract, what the partners are allowed to and not allowed to, all of that. So all I'm saying is just based on what it looks like from the outside. And I mean, we all can agree that Barcelona looks really desperate these days,
Yeah.
starting with strange negotiations with players, trying to push them out, not paying wages, trying to get money wherever they can, and then which seems to be really necessary in the financial situation they're in. But then the question is, what are you using it for? And again, just from the outside, it looks like a very desperate approach to create some short-term success. They're buying a lot of players. They're really expensive. Therefore, they're selling part of their inventory. But the question is, what if this doesn't work? This is, for
Yeah.
me personally, this is not a sustainable approach to how a business is run. Just looking at it from the outside, and if you ask me if this is a smart move, I mean, we've all heard our stories and read our articles about socios and Chiliz. I mean, there's a lot of questions around that concept, and yeah, basically going into bed with them and tying them so close to you in a topic that I believe each club should 100% own themselves, because nobody really knows how it's going to develop. That I see as a risk. But hey, I mean, who am I to judge that? Like I said, I don't have the full picture. From the outside, I'm definitely not a fan, if you couldn't tell yet.
Yeah, and I think that's the key point. You've hit the nail on the head there. That you've sold 25%. Okay, 100 million is a huge figure, and maybe that value will be like in 5 years, 10 years time, will be like, hey, no, they were smart to cash in early, because we still haven't seen the numbers reach at that level where 100 million as an early investment was a good number. So maybe that figure is, if it was 25, 30, 50 million, I would have said, oh, that seems a bit early. But 100 million is a sizable chunk of money. So that's the only thing that says that, okay, maybe Barcelona have got a sweet deal in some way. But if you take the number out, to sell 25% of something, of an asset you don't understand yet, you don't really know what the hell Web3 is. Nobody does. There are lots of words, everybody's throwing out ideas, everybody's experimenting, and it's great to experiment. But you've sold a big chunk of the experiment. Now, is that hedging bets and actually, covering your risk in some way? Or have you just, sold your soul in some ways? I don't know. Only time will tell.
And
For
especially
me,
in such a club that is supposed to be so close to its fan base.
That's the that's the one. If there was any other, I'm trying to think of a club that you would have said, yeah, that's maybe if it was Valencia. I don't, not no disrespect to them, but a club that is just one level down, trying to enter the big league, and they were like using this money and trying to be innovative and trying to make a step up. I would have said, hey, that's an interesting move. But for Barcelona, it just feels, I don't know. But fair play to them. Like City, they've always tried things. Let's see if this one will succeed or not.
Good bridge for me, because I mean, you've spoken about Web3 already. This includes NFTs, and of course, in the big mysterious land of NFTs, a lot of things happened, and we just wanted to highlight a few of them. Even sure if I'm going to show all the ones that you, to be honest. Yeah, the first one I'm going to skip for, or I'm not going to show the article, because it just basically says LaLiga also no partners with Sorare. They have a deal in place, so expect the stuff from LaLiga to show up there. I mean, it's been known for a while, and now it's made public, and this is what's happening. But the bigger one for me was more the MLB one, and this is the one I would like to start with. Um, Also, that has been clear
Yep.
for a while already, but it's actually happening. Um, I'm afraid the sound is gonna start once I play this. Oh no, I muted that. So yeah, the MLB is coming to Sorare. Sorare is not a soccer-only platform anymore, and they have made the move to North America. That's a big one, and there's a really nice presentation. I mean, it's only half an hour. If you're interested to capture that topic, it's a really good video where they walk you through what they do, and they show you like the player cards, how they're structured, all of that. And it's basically like in soccer as well. All paths lead to their fantasy game, in which you can use the cards that you own, and then there's this point system that you see here, and then you get rewards. You can win some cards, and at some point, of course, there's also a monetary component involved. But that's a big one. So they're going into direct competition with the big NFT companies from North America. Speaking about North America, the NFL is doing what I think is a really good move. I really like the approach here. They've done that last season. They gave away commemorative NFT tickets from games to fans for free. They did it in very few occasions last year, and now they're rolling it out a bit more. 400 games. I think for each team there are 3 home games guaranteed, where visitors can claim a free NFT ticket. So if you scan your normal regular ticket when you enter the stadium, you're later eligible to claim that NFT, and then potentially you are happy. Why they're doing this is pretty obvious. They want the fans to get used to that mysterious topic, to collect their first NFTs, to ideally think, oh wow, that's really nice. I'm keeping this as a memory while I'm throwing away my. Oh, they don't have physical tickets anymore, do they? I think they switched to digital entirely. I'm not entirely sure. Um,
Yeah.
yeah, but now you have your NFT, and maybe you will even get some bids for those tickets on some of the platforms, and you're like, oh, that's pretty amazing. And I believe at some point, potentially the season after, those tickets might not be free anymore. So maybe you have to pay something extra, or I don't know, every ticket is an NFT. So there's a bunch of paths they can take from there. And last but not least, we would like to mention that yeah, there was a winner in Cannes for the Lion Awards for sports entertainment, and those guys here won. And I think we both can say that we really enjoyed what they did last year, or was it this year? Yeah, this year. The Australian
Yep. Started
Open
this year.
had an amazing NFT activation with the art ball. It's in Melbourne, and they had their Roblox-based metaverse. I believe we have some footage of that as well, where everybody agreed this was done in such a thoughtful, careful way, and people seem to have enjoyed their offering really much. So that's a very quick run through to into some NFT related news. There was a bunch of other stuff. Wagme United selling the NFTs. Steph Curry inviting holders of his NFT to an event in the Bay Area. So a bunch of cool stuff. Niftysports.co, our NFT in sports newsletter. There you can read all of that. So out of those news, any one that you want to comment on? MLB, NFL, Australian Open, nothing.
Yeah, I mean, not too much to comment on. You covered everything. The only thing I'll say about the MLB partnership is that from what I read this morning, the story is still worth highlighting, but there have been some delays in the launch. Apparently, that was already supposed to be live at the end of July. The MLB partnership. It says somewhere here July 15th or 18th or something. Yeah, and that's not happened yet. So
Hmm.
I was checking that. Yeah, why has it not happened? Reasons for delays, etc. We don't know. This announcement was made a while back, but it still hasn't actually gone live. It's only been a couple of weeks, But usually, after they made a public announcement saying, "Hey, we're going live July 19th," and they haven't actually done it. It's a curious one, but let's see how that pans out. The rest of them, I like the Australian Open award-winning story. I mean, I think we both separately and together have used that as an example of NFTs done right in many places, and
Yeah.
yeah, to see them win an award for it. I mean, the Cannes Lion is a pretty prestigious award. I think that's a cool thing.
I'm curious if you think that the next news that you're going to present is something done right as well, or if it's rather
Ooh.
not.
That is an excellent question, Ben, and a perfect segue to tell me exactly what the news story is. So basically, the NBA is working with Sportradar to have deeper betting. But deeper betting on what? Not NBA games, on virtual NBA games. How many games? 3,000 games every day. Yeah, I need to
Crazy,
cool off here. This is
crazy.
this is pretty hot. No, I don't. This is nuts. I'm not a big fan, I have to say. I mean, you understand why. You understand the logic behind it. This is creating there's a boom betting market, right? Of course, everybody is all about sports betting. There's so many more sports books. There's so much let's say value extraction you're trying to create from the betting economy. The one thing the betting economy is limited by is the number of things you can bet on, which is okay. There you can find 100,000 ways to bet in one game, but there is only one game, right, that you can bet on. Now they're saying, boom, here and yeah, we've seen. By the way, don't get me wrong, we've seen virtual events before. Zed Run, we've talked about this so much on the show that it's so much fun. It sounds super interesting. And this horse racing and
Baseball.
the virtual events. Sorry.
Wasn't that this baseball thing, this virtual baseball?
Yeah, yeah. Blaze Ball also we talked about it, but nothing official. Nothing from the league itself, and because this gives it an extra legitimacy, which I don't know. I think I liked it when it was cool, little startup-y, kind of like off the grid kind of thing. But now when the NBA actually says, "Hey, here are 3,000 more games, go have fun," that's a lot. That's a lot. Anyway, but here's the story, and this is gonna because if NBA and we know the NBA is American sports playground, right? So whatever the NBA does, if it goes well, all the other leagues will copy. It's almost like this understanding that the leagues have amongst themselves that the NBA runs on these experiments, and the successful ones go to all the other leagues. So this is what the NBA is doing. This announcement actually happened just yesterday, as you can see from the story. So it's hot off the press. These they have a $1 billion data deal, and these games are coming with 3D visualizations, which is the only thing I like about it. So it's not just numbers of like kind of one zeros moving on a screen. You can actually watch the game, so it feels like maybe the game is real, like it's a video game. But no, I mean you can create 3,000 times X number of bet properties that a regular games has, and that's all they're doing. They're trying to encourage. The article says else and train millions of data points from nearly half a million other simulations using AI and ML. The outcomes they'll obviously say are completely, let's say, random. There is no way to hack the system or predict who's winning, etc., etc. They are sim visually using motion capture technology, which is what I talked about. Actually, you can watch this game. They go on about this is growing in popularity. This is featuring the sport radars providing operators with dynamic new basketball to drive engagement with the sport and to provide fans with access to NBA betting markets even in the off season. So basically, all year round, if you're a sports man, you can just bet all day, all night, literally anytime you want. It's a lot. I think that's a lot, and I think this is one of those things that has no end. And yeah, it just feels like you're really squeezing the sports better. That guy is trying to really squeeze every dollar out of this man, woman, child, whoever gets into it. Because remember, they are also targeting children. Gaming is comes from a younger audience. Yeah, it does feel a bit manipulative.
Exactly. And that's absolutely my personal opinion here. This is where things, in my opinion, go really wrong.
Yeah.
I just have to say that clear, because here, in my opinion, we're leaving betting and we're entering gambling. And what you're doing there is raising gambling addicts in the worst case, right? I mean, you're offering the people who cannot wait for the next games, who potentially try to assess games where they think they have a clue of because they were following games or players or whatever leagues for such a long time. Here, isn't it pure luck? It's gambling. I mean, if it's randomized, what defines
Genuinely, if it's truly randomized, that's a really fair point. If it's truly randomized,
the
yeah,
gambling? I mean, you can also go to the blackjack table then. I mean, maybe it's nice if you see a great basketball animation, but I'm definitely not a fan of this, and I would also not be surprised if fans would see it the same way.
yeah, I'm curious to see what the reaction will be. Yeah, I mean, as both of us are filled a bit of, yeah, there's a moment, there's a phrase in English, I don't know if you're familiar, it's called jumping the shark. Jumping the Shark actually has a connection to Happy Days. I don't know if you remember that show, Ron Howard, and there was this
Oh,
character named
that was
Fonzie,
long
and
ago.
yeah, it was very long ago. It was from the 60s. Yeah, and there's actually, it was a super popular show. There's actually one episode where the character Fonzie, actually the whole episode is building up to this one moment where he goes off a ramp, and there's supposed to be a shark in the water, and he goes off the ramp and he flies over the shark and he lands safely, and the crowd goes. And after the episode was aired, everybody watching the show like, what the hell was that? Like, why? The show is just gone. It's
Hmm.
just nosedive. Like, what are you thinking of? There was a good family, good fun community show. Now this guy's flying on water slides over sharks. Like, what are you guys talking about? It feels, and that's where the phrase "jumping the shark" comes from. And I feel like this is a jumping the shark moment. Like, what? Like what? Like, yeah, this is that. That's what it felt like to me.
I
But
mean,
hey,
I
let's see
mean,
where it goes.
yeah. I mean, I don't want to get too philosophical here, but I mean, we live in times where we have lots of other issues in the world, and companies thinking about, like you said, squeezing the fans out of whatever they have left. Yeah, you can always say it's their own decision, but it just doesn't feel good.
Doesn't feel good.
Yeah.
Anyway, unfortunately, we have to end our summer show, our summer return show, with some hey, some. At least I brought up Happy Days. Maybe that's
Yeah, we need
the
we
way.
need a happy ending, so to speak. After
Hey, Ben, I like you, but not that much. Uh, anyway,
Yeah. Next week, I hope we do have a more active crowd in the chat again.
yeah,
You didn't see it, me neither, but I tried to send you a message from my phone to the chat while we were speaking, but for some reason it didn't show up. So I don't know what happened.
the I think we're just having a interesting day technology wise.
Yeah,
Sports
yeah,
technology is
probably.
we'll have better days. Let's
All
leave it at
right.
that.
Good to be back,
Yep.
everyone. Every Thursday from on 5 p.m. Central European Summertime. See you next week. Cheers.